It's these people's very first time performing. Other times, they're just not that great. You must hang on throughout the entire thing. Because remember, if you don't like somebody in a couple of minutes, we're going to get somebody else coming up here. We got a lot of comics, a lot of fun. So give it up for yourselves for being here one more time. And remember, all night, Matt's going to be taking care of you. Take care of him, and let's have some fun, guys. First comic coming up to the stage, a favorite here, our uncle, everybody's uncle. Give it up for Uncle Rocky, everybody.
I'm one of the ones that's not so great. So Tony, being the same height, the mic is at the right spot. So I've been married for 40 years. The only reason why I do this is because it's the only place I could get a word in edgewise. You know, maturing in marriage is accepting the fact that your wife can't remember where she left her glasses, but she can remember something I said 39 years ago on a Monday night. She'll have 50% of a conversation in her head before walking in the house. And she walks in and I'm accused of never paying attention. Do you get that side eye from your wife after 5 or 6 really loud sneezes? You know, that side eye of death? I get it all the time. She accuses me of forgetting things, and I must admit I have what I call Italian Alzheimer's. I forget everything but the grudges. You know, I had a left shoulder replacement. And after the surgery, they put me in this wraparound sling for about 8 weeks. You know, I'm being Italian, we talk with our hands a lot. Because I was wrapped up, I actually developed a stutter. I was just up there going, hemina, hemina, hemina. My 2 nieces are here from New York. They escaped on Saturday before the snow started. Say hi to my girls. So when I was getting married, I went to my dad and I said, hey, Pop, I want this to be successful. Tell me what I need to know. He says, you need to know 2 words, yes, dear. I said, well, this doesn't make sense because I never heard him say that to my mother. So I go over to my Italian grandfather and I say, no, tell me, what do I need to know to make this marriage successful? He says to me, well, this girl, she's Italian. I said, yeah, she's Italian. He goes, is she Sicilian? I said, yeah, she's Sicilian. He goes, well, you can tell a lot about this girl by the way she uses her hands. I said, how so? He says, well, if her hands are wrapped around your throat, she's probably pissed off. You know you're Italian when you use the rubber band from the Broccoli Rob as your wallet. Mine broke, and I went to my gnome and I said, Grandpa, I need a new wallet. He reached in the drawer, he grabbed 20 rubber bands, threw them on the table. He said, pick the color you like. You know, as a kid, my lunchbox included things that other kids didn't have. I had a little wine glass, I had real silverware, I had linen napkins, and I had 6 meatball parmesan sandwiches that I would sell to the Jewish kids. You know, growing up in Brooklyn, you have friends outside of your own ethnic community. So in Brooklyn, the Jewish neighborhoods and Italian neighborhoods are side by side. So I had a couple of Jewish friends, and you know, they'd come over to my house for the holidays, we'd go over theirs, and we would get into the conversations about different kinds of foods. So, you know, Italians, we got meatballs, we got rice balls, we got mozzarella balls, but the Jews, all they could offer up is matzo balls. Do you know what a matzo ball is made out of? Unleavened flour, water, guilt, and schmaltz. What is schmaltz? I think it's Jewish fat. So my buddy Ira comes over on Christmas Eve, and Italians, we have the Feast of the 7 Fishes. It's a big celebration. So he knows not to come to an Italian house empty-handed. So he shows up with a bag. We walk into the kitchen. He says hello to my grandmother. He hands her the bag. She opens it up, and it's a jar of gefilte fish. She says, what's wrong with this kid? He bringing this shit to my house. I said, well, you know, he doesn't really know. He was trying to respect the customs. He knows not to come empty-handed. So I said to him, I said, Heshy, what's wrong with you? Why would you bring gefilte fish? He said, well, you said it was the Feast of the 7 Fishes. I said, yeah. He goes, well, this is fish number 8, the Kobe Bryant of fish. At thought this aging thing was going to take a lot longer. You know, I'd really rather be dealing with acne and arthritis. You know, I went to the doctor, my hands are stiff, I can't button my shirts, and I said to him, I can't deal with this. He says, well, you're going to have to learn to deal with it. Arthritis is painful and it makes everything stiff. Not everything. You know you're getting old when your balls are longer than a CVS receipt. Marla starts laughing, she knows that.
Ready, baby.
So I got a few tattoos, and Pixie drops me off at the tattoo place, and I get a tattoo, and I come home, and she's looking at me. We're sitting in the backyard. She goes, why did you get 3 lines tattooed above your knee? I said, well, do you remember when the kids were young, we would chart their growth by drawing a line on the door jam? She said, yeah, I get it, but why the 3 lines? I says, well, I have the 3 lines there because I'm trying to measure the impact of gravity on my balls. She says, well, why the dotted line? I said, because at that point, I have to stop wearing shorts. You know, now I walk into the bathroom, and I stand there, and it takes me longer to start peeing than to actually pee. He's nodding, he knows. And when I do go, it's sort of like these series of dots and dashes. It's like urinary Morse code. Ships at sea is starting to respond. You know, menopause was an interesting time for Pixie and I. She was really suffering with the hot flashes. And I said to her, what are these hot flashes all about? She says, well, it's sort of like I feel like I'm burning from the inside out. I said, oh, I get it. It's like when I eat a very spicy Italian meal. I woke up 30 minutes later, and she was standing over me with the frying pan. You know, she was suffering with hot flashes so bad that we go into the bedroom at night, and there was a chance for an intermittent flurry. It was so cold in the house. You know, for Italian women especially, menopause is just Mother Nature's way of reminding them they're going to be dealing with facial hair for the rest of their life. In fact, my Nono, when she passed away, her beard was so luxurious that she was asked to front for ZZ Top. All right, that's my time, everybody. Thanks, Rock and Barrel. There's Tony G.